That I'm sure of.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Truth Train. It's been a week since the last time we made an episode.
Just not long enough for people to totally snap and go insane.
You were thinking about maybe I'm going insane. People like, I'm driving towards, whatever it is, their damnation. Like, I'm not going to survive this.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they see on their phone that, hey, it's a new episode out.
It's a new episode.
And then they postpone creeping into that pod and ending it in Switzerland.
That's it. And it's kind of like the disease of addiction. You're never cured. One day you're just pushing it into the future. You have a daily reprieve from your insanity.
Well, anyway, when it comes to the cure, I'm looking at it right now. He's sitting here next to me, across the table.
Yeah.
It's, Mr. Dex Carrington,
Yeah.
a fine gentleman who's trained within the arts of sanity.
That's so true. That's so true. The fine art of sanity.
So, what have you been thinking about lately?
Wow. That's such a great question. I just think that if you are thinking about booking a pod in Switzerland, I think you're on the right track. I'd be more concerned for the people who are looking around going, this is fine. This is all fine. Everything is super normal now. And the anger I have at the extent to which people are delusional. Being delusional is unavoidable. Everyone has got a little bit of delusion, right? It's like having the flu. Everyone gets it.
Everyone gets it.
Now, it's how you handle it.
True.
So there's two ways to be delusional. Either you're curious about your own delusionalness, or you're trying to protect it at any cost. So when I see people who cannot take criticism and are not curious about anything and just are going to defend their terrible ideas at any price, and people who deny human nature. Look, you look at Singapore, okay? So this is making so much sense. I can hear it already. But look, but you look at a country like Singapore.
Yeah, let's have a look at Singapore for a moment.
Look, for anyone out there who's not feeling sane, let's look at Singapore.
Yeah.
They got the death penalty for everything. And as a result, no crime, right? I mean, you got to respect that because it respects human nature. People are fundamentally horrible. And if you pretend they're not, bad things are going to happen. Everyone's nice. It's all like diverse. Everyone's helping each other. I hate that. That's delusion. So what we need is here's what I think we should do. We should take all children, this whole new generation, start a war with a foreign power and dump all the delusional children into that war.
Right.
Right?
Only children?
Well, they seem to be the most delusional, don't they?
Okay.
At least teenagers, people who are like students, who have like pink hair and like everything's amazing, that kind of stuff.
Right.
They should all be sent to war. And other than that, we should take the oil money that we have, all the wealth, take it out in cash and then burn it in a big bonfire so everyone else is starving. Starvation and war. We should have nothing but that going on for like 20 years because then there's no room for delusionalness.
Right. So scared straight, basically.
No, it's just that like only when you have tons of money and you're not like lying in a ditch, starving to death with foreign agents like stabbing your eyeballs. Only then are you in touch with reality. But if you're sitting in a nice couch in like pajamas, watching a Netflix show, you're delusional. You see?
So you're not celebrating humanity at the moment?
I can't go on. I can't go on in this hellscape.
I sense some bitterness in your words.
I think that's not true. I think my DNA is made up of resentment.
Right. Resentment
DNA.
Right.
Yeah.
But what is it what happens in your life What happens to you directly that makes you think like this?
What do you mean?
What I just said.
Okay. What happens to me directly?
What is happening?
I wake up in the morning and I go, maybe today will be a good day. Maybe today I'm going to meet some great people with some great ideas who are in touch with reality. Right? And then I walk into society and then I talk to people and then I collapse into myself like a dying star with the harsh realization of what people are actually thinking and how they're functioning, etc. I mean, just as an example, like people walking down the street and they're happy. That's just one example. Like if you're happy, that's a huge red flag.
And why is that?
Because I mean, because look, people, because in order to be happy, I mean, you have to be delusional on some level. Anyone who's in touch with reality is depressed and resentful.
Right.
I can only respect people who are resentful and depressed.
But why don't you just like detach from reality then?
Well, I did for a long time.
And
then,
what happened?
Well, it worked so well for so long. And then I ended up in a rehab in Thailand and I had to face reality again.
Okay. So the fact that you were like detached from reality, developed a cocaine issue, and then had to become sober again. I don't feel like getting the cocaine addiction is being detached. No, being. How is it now? Like you be having a coke issue. That's the detachment. That's a guy who's escaping reality. Right? You're escaping reality, and now you're back to reality.
Yeah. Condemning those who are trying to escape.
And condemning those who try to escape. But people who are happy, why wouldn't you just go over to them and ask, hey, why? Listen, I know I don't know you, but why are you happy exactly?
Right.
And then they tell you, well, it's because I love my wife, and we have a beautiful dog, and we just bought a goat up in the mountain. And we're looking forward to, sending pictures to our family.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you then like, okay, I'll try that.
Right. Well, I'm talking more about people who say stuff like criminals are victims. They need help and not punishment. Like that kind of stuff.
But you were yourself a criminal when you were using cocaine.
Yeah, but I was smart enough to evade justice, wasn't I?
Sure. But okay, so should we just have shot you on the street when you were like sniffing that powder?
I would have respected
a bullet into your head.
I think so.
Yeah.
If I was rounded up, and they talk about this sort of suicidal empathy on the left, like they care so much about people,
right,
that literally there's just let's not arrest anyone, let's just let criminals run the show, kind of thing. But I would gladly be a victim of suicidal totalitarianism, where they're rounding up everyone.
I think that's a current theme in this podcast. Like I've heard this before in at least 20 episodes. So I'm pretty sure I've heard this thought before.
I think this is new.
All right. Okay.
This is new. Look, I'll give you one example.
Yeah. Okay.
Give you one example, right? Why are we even putting violent criminals? Like we have a huge bullying problem in the schools. We have a youth gang problem, and we have a violent crime problem. So why not get the violent criminals, right, and send them into schools to attack the bullies, and then pay them millions of dollars to attack the youth?
Right.
So if you get violent criminals to attack children who are going to become violent criminals, now you have a loop that eats itself, and it's a problem that goes away on its own.
Right.
See, these are kind of smart ideas the government is too stupid to come up with.
Yeah, but anyway, so meanwhile, back in reality, why wouldn't you go over to a person who's happy and ask them, listen, give me the secret to your smiles.
Right.
Why are you smiling? Why are you holding hands with this woman? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you have nice shoes and clean clothes? And nice hair. Like, how do you do it? Well, wouldn't you be more curious to like go over to that person and ask about the recipe to success rather than just hating them?
Right. I don't know.
I'm just
yeah,
asking.
but it seems to be stuff like, I believe the mainstream media and I believe institutions wish us well, and I believe...
You do that?
No, they say that.
Right.
And they say stuff like, I believe experts were right about COVID. Like,
Yeah, but why
that.
don't you just like suspend your critical thinking and just become one of those?
I think once you've started, you can't stop.
Suspension of critical thinking?
Yeah. Once you started the critical thinking, you can't stop it.
I think you can.
Well, it's a recipe for misery. I don't recommend it.
But why did you just like stop now?
I can't.
Why?
Because it's turned on now.
It's turned on?
The critical thinking.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Because of the pharmaceutical industry, I spent 6 years in a dark bedroom shivering, not being able to talk, and I almost died.
Right.
It's hard to come out the other end of that and suspend critical thinking. You know kind of what I mean?
Yeah, I think the phrasing of the pharmaceutical industry made me do that is something I would call escaping any blame for my own actions.
They put a gun to my... No, but there was no informed consent, you see. Right. There was no informed consent.
Listen, I would agree with you that there's a lot of stuff that has been put in human beings, and even in our fuel tanks up throughout the years, they put lead in the gasoline.
No.
Right? And it killed more people than any war ever happened, right? People died of cancer and tumors and shit all the time until oh shit, we have to take the lead out of the gasoline. But that problem, like they had that problem for like 30 years where they just drove around like, hey, this works just fine. But everybody's dying. Yeah, but you know, humanity.
Okay.
So my point is, of course, you know, humanity has done insane stuff throughout the years. They've done horrible things. They've justified illegal wars, and they've done stuff, and they put stuff in the water, and they put stuff in the food, and oh shit, that's cancerous. No, cigarettes are safe, and everything's safe, and but then after a while, I'm like, shit, we couldn't do that. When it comes to your pharmaceutical
adventures.
I mean, just like blaming them for doing it to you. Like, sure, I mean, yeah, it's a cynical industry, but when should people take the blame for their own actions? That's my question.
It's just the doctor should tell you the reality of these drugs. They say they're harmless. That's literally what the doctor says.
But if the doctor doesn't know, and you don't know, and the industry really doesn't, or not curious to find out if it's wrong, like if it causes anything, or like Oxycontin, right? They knew that it was a drug that was addictive, but they just hid the research and said, no, it's no addiction here,
right? And
then like people died like flies.
Yeah, but I was
so it's a cynical industry. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a cynical industry, but it doesn't. But I don't think you should like.
Okay. Can I give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When I was going off a drug called Lyrica made by Pfizer, I had chest pain, like heart attack symptoms.
Yeah. For
I think 6 months straight. So I had all the symptoms of a heart attack. Any normal person in my situation would call an ambulance, right? And they would get there. Now, if you go on the medical, like government medical website, whatever, in this country, right? Then it says like, and it's this whole like, oh my God, there's so much inclusion and diversity. We're all like best friends. Like everyone's helping each other. It's like such a cohesive society. There's so much multiculturalism. And like, if you feel like just an inkling of pain in your chest, you'll have to call an ambulance because we care so much about each other. And these are the fucking people who put you on fucking medication to give you heart attack symptoms. And the people that are going like, oh my God, everyone's amazing. We're all helping each other. You know what I mean? And these fucking people, I'm looking at them going like, listen, you should go fight a war. Like you should be lying in a field with both legs ripped off, screaming for a medic that never comes. Because then perhaps you would wake up to the reality here.
Which is what? You're legless?
That we're not best friends and we're not helping each other. And it's just all bullshit. You know, but don't you ever look, especially these like young people, like you look at young people like Berlin as a perfect example, like, oh my God, everyone's like helping each other. We're like the best society ever. I hate it. Like nobody's, and another thing they also do is like, we should tax the rich because like greed is wrong. And like everyone's greedy. Everyone's greedy. And to think they're not is so, I mean, it's just so insane that I can't even breathe. Like, I get so angry, I almost like collapse to the ground just thinking about it. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
What's wrong with you? Why don't you hate people an adequate amount?
Because I don't think I'm an insane person. That's why.
But I cure sanity. That's what I do.
Well, you do it in a different way, I would say.
No, but I'm serious.
Your methods are questionable.
I just don't understand. You know, oh man, I wish I was 18 because I hated people more when I was 18, but then it was okay. Now that I'm older, it almost sounds like bitter, but it isn't. It's still cool and edgy.
It's cool and edgy. Hey, I'm pulling shapes.
That's right. That's right. Oh man, I just don't.
But here's the problem with everything you just said.
Okay.
I don't know what to address because you're saying 19 things at the same time. And that is a rambling of a madman.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about pharmaceutical industry and then diversity and inclusion and then tax the rich. And it's like, what the fuck am I even going to address in this?
Wow. Yeah, but just everything is wrong with everything.
Everything is wrong with everything.
Yeah, but like...
Yeah, but here's my problem.
Right.
With people who think like you.
Okay.
What were you expecting in the first place?
Right.
That this is a well-run machine, that everything like, well, you know, it's just like you just put oil in the engine, it just runs and runs, and it's like a clockwork.
Look,
that's what you think?
No, it's a great question. What I was expecting, right, was that society would collapse faster.
Right.
So we could go back to sort of a cowboys and Indians thing, like kind of like Back to the Future 3.
Yeah, but it has collapsed a couple of times, though.
No, but I mean really collapsed.
But it has really collapsed a couple of times.
Like when?
I mean, they can just give you a couple. I mean, this First World War was a horrible one. And so society collapsed, international shipping, everything just broke down. And on top of that, they had the Spanish flu that actually came from USA,
right?
The States, Texas, I think. But they called it the Spanish flu because they were the only country that was actually addressing it. All of the other countries didn't address it because they didn't want the enemy to know that they had a flu problem, which then, you know, would give, you know, an opportunity to strike or whatever, right? So everybody hit it except the Spanish.
Right.
So, and they killed a lot of people and it broke down society. And that was like, fuck, this is shitty, right? And then they still had to rebuild society again. And then, of course, you know, everybody was shit broke. And then there was a guy in Germany who came along and he said, hey, I have a solution to this.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into names here because of the algorithm, but
right.
His name is Adolf.
Right.
So, and then he kind of destroyed society a little bit there, right? With all the wars and the English in India and the Chinese and the English and the Americans and the Russians so that was shit for a while, right? So much society broke down and they had to kind of rebuild. And then, and obviously now it's been like, you know, easy going for a while, but it's going to end at some point again. That's just inevitable that a comet or a flu or like some virus or whatever it is, war perhaps.
Yeah, I'm just
asteroid. It's all that stuff. Solar flares. Like the planet is gonna end at some point anyway. But the point is like, why walk around being bitter about everything that you can't control? That's my problem.
Here's my question to you then: how are you able to look at a young person drinking a Monster energy drink, looking at their phone, and not want to end it? I'll take it one further. How are you able to walk down the street and see a young person on a scooter, like sort of not even obese or like fat, just sort of like melty?
Yeah, he's a melty guy.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's just sort of falling at like high estrogen, sort of like just falling apart
Yeah,
from
like
just-
he's like his skin is fat on the outside.
his body screams poor choices.
Right.
And he looks like he's melting in the sun. He just looks like an unhealthy blob that has too much heat coming on it. And he's cruising down the street, and you can tell his whole face is just thinking like, I'm so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, how can you look at that and not want to just, end it all?
Well, because I know that his life probably sucks too.
No, but I just said his whole face is saying, like, I'm amazing. Or like even worse, he's cruising down the street and he's sort of swerving back and forth, going like,
Yeah, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a king or if you're a poor guy, everybody thinks their life sucks. Everybody, life sucks and then you die. That resonates for pretty much everyone. Everybody relates to that. Even a king of whatever country.
but what about the Monster Energy drink?
What about it?
I mean, how are you able to look at these people drink a Monster Energy drink and not want to just, I don't know, go live in a
I
cave?
hate to be the bearer of bad news here,
Okay.
but I've heard a guy that I don't know if you know him, but I don't know if he knows himself, but he talks about like eating cheeseburgers in the dark, eating ice cream in the shower with the water running, drinking Coca-Colas, having his maid clean up his room and then giving him pizza. Shopping, candy for like $20 and in the early 90s when that was like $2,000 today, right? Like just an insane person talking about that stuff,
Right?
without any ending.
But
So like it's the hypocrisy is well and alive here.
look,
And
Look.
a guy drinking a sugary drink while one guy is like making cakes on top of other cakes baked into a cake again.
you know what my dream is? I'll tell you my dream.
What is your dream?
My dream is that the internet goes down and every phone explodes.
Right.
And then I can watch all these people go into withdrawal and sort of like be shaking on the ground with seizures as they can't like post their stupid ideas and their stupid things and just like, felt cute, might delete later. I mean, look, this stuff, it has to end. Like, it has to end. We're producing all these monsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but listen, you're gonna have you're gonna be right at some point. At some point, there will be an EMP pulse or a solar flare,
Right.
that will fry every phone and computer on Earth.
What do you think's going to happen to all these people with Monster Energy drinks and scooters who are going like, oh my God, there's so much diversity?
Well, they're gonna learn a lot of new stuff about themselves.
When? That day or just in general?
No, like in the weeks to come.
How come you're so mature and I have to sound so stupid?
Well, you are talking.
Yeah, but you sound so put together, Like my hate, like, controls me.
Listen, you're talking about like. Here's the thing. I don't shit my pants as soon as I see something I don't like.
Right.
Right? I don't lose my like a fucking guy, a melty guy and a scooter with energy drink. I hate the world. That's a homeless guy screaming at the world right there. That's a bambling buffoon.
A melty guy on a scooter with an energy drink.
Yeah, it's like just the words put together just exposes insanity.
Right.
Right? And that guy, I mean, he's not on a truth train anymore, that's for sure. I mean,
Right.
he's off any vehicle that exists.
But I mean,
He's left in the tracks.
But here's why it's so important to hate people.
Why is that?
And to hate things and to
Okay.
be very angry. I'm going to explain why that's a great thing.
Please.
All you see nowadays are yoga people or people who are coaches or they're on a healing journey.
Right.
And what that means is that, let's be honest, there are no people in the West who are going to get enlightened anytime soon, okay? You don't have a mango peach Monster Energy drink, sugar-free, getting enlightened. That's not how it works.
Right.
And especially not if you're on a fucking moped in Bali with some fucking Australian surfer piece of Okay, anyway, I'm just saying. So all these people, right? They're not going to get enlightened. So what do? They take all their negative emotion and they just push it down. and they change their voice, talked about this before, and go, oh my God, I'm so enlightened, So they deny their own humanity. And I feel all those people out there are just like, it's a virtue to never hate anyone. We have to be so tolerant. I got some news for it, okay? People aren't tolerant, okay? They're pretty fucking intolerant. Once you take away their fucking PlayStations and their whipped cream boxes, okay?
All these young guys with their computers and games.
No, but listen,
playing. We used to go outside.
No, but listen.
You used to do the exact same thing.
Yes, but
you were living in Singapore. You were playing your goddamn Nintendo.
But I didn't
you ate shit. You were like,
I was outside all day. I wasn't gaming. Anyway,
you told me you were in your room all day long, like with other kids eating candy bars.
it was just when I went to the rich kids' places and we ate Crunch ice cream balls. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, listen.
And what do you think other parents looked at you? Did they like, wow, what a enlightened young man. He's going to be the future. I'm looking forward to.
I think they looked at me and they thought, I like him. He seems smart.
Right.
Right. And he is going, whatever he criticizes, we should also hate.
Right.
But listen, let me just get to the point. So everyone's pushing down their emotions, going like, I care about everyone. Oh my God, Ukraine's important. Like all this crap, right? no, but I'm just saying, everyone pretends that they're so great, okay? I'm the only one being real, okay? I'm the only one going, I hate everything and I hate everybody and everyone should change except me, right?
Right.
Now that's a very human thing to say.
Very.
And everyone else... Everyone else pretends they knows what they like. Everyone else pretends to be in control, okay? I'm not pretending. I'm authentic.
You're authentic.
That's right. And people respect that.
I don't know who exactly.
Let me put it to you this way. Here are the facts, okay? I'm gonna lay down the facts.
Listen.
Everyone's pathetic. The only difference is, can you admit it or not?
Right.
Right? And I'm the only guy admitting I'm pathetic. Everyone else thinks they're cool. Can you imagine anything more insane? Imagine in this world, getting up in the morning like, I'm just going to pop my monster and get on an energy. You know what I mean? And they get on their fucking scooter and they're cruising down the street going like, we're all so diverse and happy. And you believe it. Imagine it.
What's wrong with the energy drink? I don't get that. What's it's just a sugary drink. Yeah, it's unhealthy and everything, but I mean, people drink Coca-Cola every day.
Yeah, but look, Coca-Cola is not pretending, okay, that you need energy.
Yeah, is that the problem? Like they're young and stupid and need energy? Is that the thing?
If you think that you need energy,
right?
I can't. We can't. I mean, this cannot. We can't let people think like that.
But how should people get energy then?
Huh?
How should people get energy? If not from a drink, from what then?
From a black coffee.
Black coffee.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No milk?
Huh?
Milk?
Sure. Look, caffeine is supposed to be ingested slowly, okay?
Right.
You don't chug caffeine because it shows weakness.
Well, that's well, in Italy they have this espresso. They come in there like an espresso and then they go out again. They do it all the time.
It's a good point.
So,
but I have a feeling that they sort of do it in like better clothing and smell better.
Italians smelling better.
Yeah, but listen. If you're a member of the mafia and you're drinking an espresso, I can kind of respect what you're doing. Okay, you need quick energy. You have people to hurt, people to threaten. But if you're a person with a nose ring who thinks you're on a healing journey and you're planning your Bali trip and I can't. This has to stop. Like, why?
Have you been to Bali?
Unfortunately.
I mean, the hypocrisy is it's well and alive here. It's screaming, actually, if you think about it. But everything you're criticizing, you have done yourself.
Yeah.
You've been to that place.
Yeah.
You've been an influence person.
Right.
You know, you've been like making, clips and shit and try to influence shit.
Yeah.
You've been on motorized vehicles.
You want to know the difference?
What is
the difference between me and these other people?
What is the difference?
I have the decency to hate myself for what I've done.
Yeah, but listen, I read or heard whatever it was. Did nowadays, like depression and you know, all these suicide hotlines and all, like, it's,
All these suicide hotlines.
yeah, like they have to create a new call center every day now.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, but it's like it's obviously social media is doing harm to the world, right?
Right.
Like in Australia, you have to be like 16 years old to have a Snapchat account. I actually agree with that because our heads are too soft and too stupid to comprehend the damage that those, I don't know what social media devices can do.
Yep.
Same with Facebook, even though, I mean, of course, all our parents has just made that racist now. So that doesn't work. But you have Instagram, like all these influencers, bloggers, and all that. Like, obviously, it's hurting young people's mind because everything is edited and you know, filtered, and it's just like, oh my God, they're living the perfect life, eating their quinoa and their oatmeal and their
Overnight oats.
overnight oats and sitting in the sun all day and traveling and having nice bags and shit. And like, I also just want to open stuff and filming myself and putting it on the internet. I want to do unboxing videos. I want to be sent free shit. I want to have the computer. I want the phones. I want the gadgets. I want the robots. I want the Tesla. I want to rate stuff and do nothing else and just getting things and not creating anything else than a video, right?
Why do you think everyone wants to travel? What's with this new generation?
Yeah,
that they all wanna-
freedom. It's always the same thing.
What do you mean freedom?
Same thing with like James Bond when that came out. He was like traveling to exotic places, and of course, air travel back in the days in the 60s was extremely expensive. If you want to fly from London to like Barbados or Jamaica or whatever, that was just that was an insane amount of money, and you had to make an insane amount of money to just justify that. And the taxes in England back in the days was like 73% or whatever it was until the 80s when Margaret Thatcher came along, right? And Reagan in the US. So the taxes were high, but still people paid to go on these vacations because they had even more money. So it was a status connected to it, right? And of course, air travel became more and more accessible, and everybody was like everybody could go on a trip now. But the point is, travel is exotic. It's freedom. Like, you don't have to work. You don't have to be on a workplace from Monday to Friday and then just have 2 days. Now you can just like be on a beach somewhere and just money for nothing. It just lands on your head. Everybody wants that life now.
Okay,
but we're digressing here.
No, because here's the thing. I still have psychological damage from seeing that Instagram post where there was a woman on a beach and she wrote, "My spirit animal is who I am when I'm on vacation." Like, I'm still going to therapy for that 4 years later. But I'm just saying, if there's one place where the death penalty is 100% warranted, we should have the death penalty for everyone who posts anything from their vacation. That should be the death penalty. Because what bothers me the most is that I know these people go on these vacations to post. So my question to these people is, who would they be if they couldn't post?
But it's about bragging. Of course, everybody wants to brag.
Hey, until the death penalty comes along.
Nobody brags.
That's right. That's right. That's right. No, they really don't. And look, don't you think that's a great idea?
No, but I think I'm against the death penalty, just period. Just the fact that because there have been innocent people who have been convicted for murders they haven't done and then gotten killed, and then several later, oh, it wasn't him, it was that other guy.
There are no innocent victims on social media in terms of, hey, did you post or did you not post?
Sure, okay.
You know what I mean? Hey, keep your vacation out of my face. And it's not even about me, but I just want to know, like, how would these people live their lives if they couldn't post? Who are they really?
Well, obviously they're nobody, right?
But they think they're somebody. Doesn't that bother you?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're a person who talks about something important on the internet and you put it out there and it's like, that's educational or whatever. Sure. I mean, yeah, you should be allowed to do whatever you want. But again, I agree with you. I don't like to look at holiday snaps from idiots on their vacation or like, here's my meal. Ask me anything and all that stuff, right? Ask me a question. And I was like, no, I don't want to ask you. You're uninteresting. Why would I ask you
But then
anything?
you have to see that other people did, and that hurts so much. If you were the dictator, how would you deal with these people?
I would call each and every one of them. I would just start calling them. Like, listen, you're destroying society. What are you going to do here?
What? That's it?
Yeah.
No threats or anything?
No, the first you call them. Listen, you have to stop this this idiot stuff of yours. Like, do something important.
You know what I think might be a good thing?
Yeah.
You create a registry of people with brain damage. And you can have social media. You just have to register that you have brain damage.
Right.
Yeah. So you're a person who's like not functional.
Well, I would do. I think there has to be like laws are much slower to catch up with. Innovation is quicker than laws are created, right? So before you could drive like an electric scooter in the middle of the night, like it was just like open 24/7, right? People were drunk on them and destroying themselves, damaging their heads and everything. Teeth, you name it, broken bones. And it took like over 2 years, I think, before there came like any legislation on the table that kind of restricted the time and use and whatever. So I think, and this social media thing, it seems to me that people really don't know the damage that it's going to cause people down the road. We already see the problem with social media.
And what's the problem?
Well, the problem is that obviously there's a correlation between people getting depressed and having psychological problems and the access to social media. There's a correlation. How big is it, and how big is the effect? Maybe it's a cocktail of problems, but I think that's a big beneficial factor to the thing that everybody's struggling with, which is their place in society and who they are. I'm inadequate. Like I should have a Porsche and have like a nice suit and driving around in Monte Carlo, being 21 years old. I should be a millionaire already. What am I doing here in my mother's basement? Why are women rejecting me? Like all the women are, partying with all these guys, and I'm sitting here. Why am I not the cool guy? And you're just constantly reminded that you're nothing, right? And I think like, even though I'm a guy who's like, people should do whatever they want kind of person, you should be free and you should be allowed to do stupid things. But we also have agreed that, okay, and it's an abstract thing but like 18-year-old, then you're an adult. You're an adult now, you can do whatever you want. You can drive a car, you can vote, whatever, right? Why 18? Why not 19? Why not 17? We just agreed as a society, it's 18. That's the abstract limit on when adulthood kicks in. So obviously, we have the ability, right?
Right.
To do something with like, here's the line. This is the line, right?
Right.
No holiday snaps before you're 18, let's say.
No, but no one's allowed.
No social media until you're 18.
No social media on vacation ever.
Well, okay, dictator, but like I'm just saying, I think when it comes to having social media, I'm not an expert on this thing, but I read a book that I would recommend everyone to read, which is the book Hooked.
Yeah,
it's called Hooked.
Right.
It's about how Silicon Valley create apps to make you addicted to them.
Right. That's the Bible.
That's the Bible. It's the Bible, but it's also like how it was actually just like writing down what they already knew, but it was kind of like hidden from people. Like it's all about the reptilian brain, right? Just like you go open an app to see if you get your little slot machine. Like you just like pull the handle. Do I have a like? No. Do I have a like? No. Do I have a new like? No. Do I have a new follower? Like we're pretty fucked up as a species now, right? Like it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
If I see one more person on an electric scooter celebrating diversity, like I'm gonna be in a mental institution in a padded cell.
Yeah, and this thing of yours about diversity, I don't know. I don't want to even get into it. But the thing is, I think the problem is that humanity is flawed and it's full of problems. I think the difference between me and you, I don't react to it the same way, it seems.
You know what I
Because you're like hating like stuff that has like no value.
No, but listen, the reason I hate the word diversity is the word. It's this word that's sort of forced on us that everyone's supposed to embrace.
Right,
And
okay.
it's way more nuanced. And it's same with all these other, like, there's just so much stupid stuff. Look, can we at least agree on this? Violent criminals, right? I think we should send them into a school and then we should televise them beating up bullies. I think that's great. Another option for violent criminals is put them in a cage with a bear or a lion and then televise it, right? Now, listen, one of two good things will happen here. Either the violent person survives but is now humbled by the bear,
Right.
or they get killed by the bear, which is also good.
Well, first of all, it seems to me, and then they should be televised, right? Or like be used as entertainment, or
No, as a deterrent.
as a deterrent.
If look,
But
you're growing up. Like, look, Billy, that's what happens to people who are violent,
Okay, so you want to just go back to the Roman times, basically.
but with television.
Like you want to have the Colosseum, and then a guy walks in there, and it's like, this guy is a murderer and thief. He's now gonna fight Spartacus, or like one of the biggest.
No, just an animal. He
Okay, sure,
He
just
always
an
fights
animal.
an animal. But also, there has to be CCT footage of the violent act he's done.
Right.
Right. But
While he's in the ring.
now ref Singapore again, where they're ruthless toward criminals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just saying, there's so many things we should be doing that we aren't doing,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
right?
But I think the strategy of yours is counterproductive.
Okay. What is counterproductive?
Well, counterproductive is when you just like hate a guy who's melting with a soft drink. That's counterproductive. That's not really helping anything. You being upset for the rest of the week because you saw a guy who's not to your liking.
With a soft drink.
That's not. How is that solving anything?
Yeah. Damn it. No, but I'm just saying, all these kids in school
Right.
have said, if no one else had their phone, I wouldn't mind not having a phone. So that's the whole point of the death penalty on snaps on vacation. Because if you can't take snaps on vacation, now the funny thing is, what's a vacation, right? Is that outside your home? Oh, you're on your lawn. Is that a vacation from your house, right? And so nobody will risk it anymore. Everyone will just delete those apps and continue. Like, I'm just saying, if you use Stalin-like mechanisms to create fear, you can use those in productive ways or non-productive ways.
Yeah, Stalin wasn't a great guy.
He didn't use the fear correctly.
Well, he did kill 25 million people.
Which is not good. What he could have done is he could have made 100 million people not be on the internet
Yeah,
with the fear. So he used it wrong.
he used it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, he wasn't precise.
No, I'm just saying, all those.
That was his Stalin's problem. He wasn't precise, and in that he killed 25 million people.
Yes, but look, he starved people to death. You don't target the food, you target the phones.
Right.
Everybody knows that.
But I think you're one of the guys who's you're the guy who's most on your phone than anyone I know.
Right?
So should I kill you now?
Well, I'm just saying.
Should I call the government and like, hey, bring the van. Look at his screen time on his Apple device.
I just wish there were deterrents, is all I'm saying. I have to be on there for research, you know.
Really?
Yeah, to figure out, look, because the thing is, like, it's difficult to hate a lot of these people enough, right?
It's difficult? Obviously not. It's it's the easiest thing for you.
Yeah.
You hate it automatically now.
Yeah, I know.
It's your default setting.
I know.
You just hate it automatically.
You know what I think is crazy? Is like these stupid cliches, like, you know, like someone is sitting at a beach house they're at on some stupid vacation. They have a laptop and a coffee and it's just like, not a bad view. You know what I mean? And you think like, no one actually does that in real life, but they do.
They do?
They actually do. Like, and they don't even And like without parody, without trying to be funny or like without irony, nothing. They're actually there going like, no, not bad, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the bragging of vacations and like where look at where I am.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, but it's real, and it's like I thought no one would be able to do that anymore without being like sarcastic about it, but it's real, and that's when I like have breathing problems and stuff.
Right.
And so I think I look at it and I'm just like, oh yeah, I can't, it's just too much.
But have you noticed that like society is doing a lot to you? Have you noticed? The pharmaceutical are doing it to you.
It's just everyone's against me.
It's
It's uncanny. Only I'm being attacked.
like you're being attacked from every angle. And you're just like, I'm innocent and I'm a victim. You're and you're talking about people being victims and not taking responsibility and this diverse fucking bullshit. And you're the most like, yeah.
The scooter people are doing it to me. And it's like people are buying Monster energy drinks to attack me, you know?
You're the guy who's most on your phone than anyone. You're the guy who's like was the most spoiled shitty kid that ever existed. You're the guy who used to do influencing commercials with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You've sold shit. You've traveled. You've made travel documentaries even. Like, look at where I'm partying, money for nothing. Hey, how you doing? You're that shithead that you hate.
So I would just like to say that it's very hard to respect someone who doesn't hate themselves enough.
And I thank you for hating yourself.
Yeah, thank you, because it's hard work.
It's one of the few things I respect about you.
Thank you, because I wake up every day and I go, oh, me again, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that when anyone, because look, the fundamental truth is everyone's pathetic. To what extent do you acknowledge it? So what I think what bothers me the most is when people do this stuff and they're literally walking around like, I'm amazing, you know? That's what kills me. It's one thing if you do terrible things and you acknowledge that you're terrible, which I do on a daily basis. I'm crippled by my own self-loathing, and you got to respect that.
Well, okay. Let's say we do respect that. But
Hypothetically.
what happens next?
Huh?
What happens next?
Well, I'm just saying, like...
Okay, you hate yourself. You wake up, I hate myself.
Yeah.
And we like, thank you, Dex, for hating yourself.
The self-loathing is the fuel
Yeah.
that propels you.
But how do we use this hatred, self-hatred of yours to anything, to gain anything? What are we gaining here?
You're always trying to like lessen the shame, and you're on like a redemption quest. I think what bothers me about most people is they haven't reached the point of self-loathing to fuel their own redemption quest. You know?
Yeah, I know. I think you should. I think you should be on medication.
I don't think so, because they don't give informed consent.
I think you should call the pharmaceutical industry and tell them I'm sorry.
Right. I was.
I've been bad mouthing you on the podcast and on the internet and everything.
Yeah.
I've been like living a lie. I've been blaming everyone except myself.
I think deep down, I wish I was that scooter guy melting.
There you go.
Because he seems so happy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being him? I bet he wakes up and just thinks, I'm amazing.
But isn't that the goal, though?
What?
Ending up like that? I'm amazing. Isn't that the goal?
No.
No?
Oh, that's only for people who are on like a healing journey. But for normal people, self-loathing is the goal.
Yeah, but that's a societal problem right now. People have, as I said, psychological problems, more than ever.
No, but I think they have psychological problems because they think they're amazing when they're not. I think the people...
How the fuck do you square that?
Because no matter how bad I feel about myself, I'm still doing better than people who think they're amazing.
But how can people be depressed going around feeling amazing?
No, because they're in cognitive dissonance, right?
Right.
Because what is schizophrenia? I'm sorry, what is a psychosis?
A happy place.
Other than that, though, the definition is a break from reality.
Right.
And the guy who's melting on a scooter, drinking a energy drink, I mean, he's obviously not great, but he thinks he is. So because of that, he's in a psychosis.
Okay.
This is the psychosis we all seek. And it's like, no.
There is a psychosis in this room right now. That's for sure.
Look, I'll tell you, fine, I'll agree with you on one thing. We know with 100% certainty that either me or the scooter guy is in a psychosis.
Yeah.
But that means with 100% certainty that one of us is not.
But I'm going to put my money on something.
Right?
That's for sure.
Oh, I think you're putting
And it has
money.
Monster drink written all over it.
Well, I
not
think,
being in a psychosis.
I think people would beg to differ. And I think studies have shown, okay, people don't bond over things they love. Like, whoa, no way, you like ponies? I like ponies too. There's none of that going on. Those are very weak friendships.
I think it happens.
Look, I'm just trying to prove.
Like wasn't there like a penny, like a horse club, like for girls? Like,
yeah. But I'm trying to make a point here, so don't ruin it with facts.
Sorry.
So the thing is, people really bond over hating the same things.
Right.
And I think if you've listened to this episode and you've thought, wow, I hate all those things too, then you know you can come here for your weekly reprieve from your condition.
Yeah, or, I mean, if you're starting to become sane, you can listen to this podcast and then make yourself a little bit more insane for a while. Like topping up the insanity.
Whatever is your problem, it calibrates it.
Right.
Right. So if you're insane, it makes you sane. If you're too sane, you become a little bit more insane, but you get toward the middle. But this is important stuff because I don't think people in society hate stuff enough. You know?
Well, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Like,
So,
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of gullible people, and they have a big problem with a tiny, like a wrong comment, or like a wrong, so he said something wrong, or he wore the wrong thing, or it was the wrong Halloween costume, or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But they let a war crime just slide as like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the hypocrisy is well and alive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So my problem is that's my biggest problem with society is like it's so obviously unfair, and it's very it's strange what we focus on as what is our problems.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can't, whatever the thing is, like I can't get a loan in the bank. Yes, I would grant you that is a big problem. But where they try to find a solution is always wrong. Mm-hmm. It's always like, we should vote in the criminal capitalists to run society. Yeah, let's vote for a showboat, casino, riverboat guy with orange face, right? Like it's not the solution here. Like, and then like, hey, New York is expensive. Yeah, let's vote in a communist. And I said, no, people, you're crazy. Yeah. Every one of you, listen. Like, there's nothing at it. It's just like there's always the strategy to like go towards the extreme to fix the little thing and the big thing. Like, and everything is like before. It's the same amount of wars. It's the same amount of problems. It's the same amount of money. Like, it's like 1% owns 99% of everything. Like, it's just like we're not fixing the big problem.
It's true, because I would say that the biggest war crime is going to Bali and taking a picture of yourself in a bikini on a beach with a cocktail, pretending you don't know someone's taking a picture of you. If you have the audacity to go down there and be like, oh my God, I'm on vacation, look at me. You know what I mean? Then at least have the decency to look into the camera and admit your crime.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something, and you need to hear this. You have a great life. You know why you have a great life? Because if me and you were sitting in like a cafe and a guy with a energy drink and like melting and a little bit chubby, fatty bombaddy on a scooter was traveling, you used to like hate him and like he's smiling and he's thinking he's fantastic. You have the luxury to only have that as your problem. While I'm thinking about like the world is crumbling around us with politicians, corrupt wars, and people like making backroom deals and money supply and funding shit and like just like keeping the power in the hands of few. And you're just reacting to a guy on a scooter?
It's because the scooter guy represents the people who can't see that the world is crumbling.
Well, that's a bunch of bull if I ever heard it.
Why?
Why?
Because look, at least
You're focusing on the wrong person.
No, it isn't, because I'm aware that the world is falling apart, which is why I'm walking on the street, trudging along like it's a communist hellhole, and I'm looking at the dark gray scenery going like, oh, it's all going to hell. But the guy on the scooter, he's oblivious to all this, going,
yeah.
You know?
And society made him that way. Do you know why? Because there's so many problems in the world that people can't take it in. So they just like shut down and like, what's on the TV? What's the new makeup? What's the new dress? What's the new shoes? What's the new scandal? What's the new gossip? What's the new thing on the grapevine? Like everything.
No. The scooter guy is the ultimate symptom of the collapse.
Yeah, but he's the symptom, but you're not addressing the cause.
Yeah. How would you address the cause?
I would not look at him and scream.
He's melting.
He's an innocent idiot.
Right?
He's a victim of people controlling the world. Haven't you listened to David Icke or anyone?
He's a victim of the Coca-Cola Corporation.
Listen, there's a roadmap to madness.
Yeah,
and we need to navigate it.
That's another important thing for our viewers. David Icke is back on YouTube.
Yes.
And he has now the roadmap to madness, which we've all been seeking.
Navigating the roadmap of madness.
Navigating the roadmap of madness. That's what we need to be doing.
That's what we're trying to do. But you're focusing on a scooter guy with a soft drink while I'm taking in the big questions. What is the EU talking about? What is the new legislation? What is the thing that everybody in the EU has to do now? What is everything that the American government is doing and forcing the EU to do? What are we doing towards China? What is China planning? What are they doing in Africa? Where's the minerals going? What is Elon Musk up to? Why are we handing out money to Argentina and not handing out money to the people who voted for a president?
But I am fighting.
You're fighting?
I'm fighting more than you. I didn't even take the vaccine.
Wow, look at you. How brave. But here's the thing. I'm just saying, you should be screaming at the big guns, not at these weak guy with like sticks. You should be focused on the guys with laser weapons in space.
Right.
Not the guy with like his fists.
You know, you said to me a long time ago, you said, get better enemies.
Right? And this is a perfect example of that. You're hating a guy who's done nothing. You should be hating the big guys. The guys who's flying into Davos on their private plane telling you to pollute less.
Yeah, it's true. You know,
because they want something out of it.
You know, it's funny because whenever I come to you and I'm so angry about these small petty people, right? Like, how dare he have an earring, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Then you say, you're yelling at a guy in a wheelchair. Like, what are you doing? And that's so true. I really need better enemies.
No, here's the thing. Let me just boil it right down.
But just one last thing. And I like the fact that you have no problem with my amount of anger. It's just where I'm pointing it.
I love the anger.
Thank you.
I love it. We want it more. But you should redirect your energy weapon towards the actual thing that is causing the problem.
Right.
Not towards a victim of the problem.
So it's like hating is not the problem.
Hating is great.
It's the direction.
You should focus your energy weapon.
Hate is great, parentheses, when directed correctly.
Yeah. Hate is great.
Period.
Period.
yeah. Hate is great. I like that. Hey, that's a great cap, or a coffee mug. I'm just saying.
Hate is great again.
Hate is great again.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's end on this.
Okay.
I don't know, what was it? Was it Socrates? He had this. What was it called? Like the cave thing.
Cave allegory.
cave allegory. You're the guy who's screaming towards the
wall.
the shadow, puppet shadows on the wall. You goddamn shadow puppets!
They're real, you know.
You fucking pieces of shit! You shadow fucks!
Meanwhile,
And meanwhile, if you just turned your head, it would be a guy making the shadow puppets.
yeah, puppet master. That's great. That's an amazing visual right there. Ah, what a therapy session.
It really is. All right, people, stay strong and hate the correct things
For the right reasons.
for the right reasons. Bye.